Well, the guys are on the break now. Don't know where they've gone to. Let's go to the kitchen and get ourselves a treat.
Good job, Moose. Before we get started, as usual, the views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, nor any division, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries, strictly those of us that are expressing them. Happy almost Halloween, which is almost Happy All Saints Day. And I believe, if I'm correct, got to Google something just to make sure that I am right. No, I wasn't right. So it's not. It's All Saints Day, but it's not going to be the Feast of Saint Andrew. That's not until the end of the month. So there's some fun facts for you. Speaking of fun facts and scary things, Moose changed shirts in front of the camera while we were off screen, and it kind of scarred me for life. So there was that. But good evening to everybody.
In a pair of boxers when I was your aide de camp, and we had to share a hotel room. I don't want to be talking about getting scarred.
But I paid for the hotel room. Anyway, good evening to everybody in the chat. Good evening, Gerald Nelson, cousin Charles, Al, Jude, Sean, Miss Linda, Dave, that thing that's 12 years older than me, and it's my sister, David and Lydia Daniels, Dr. Sandy Mitchum, the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Gramling, followed by the Lone Ranger, Chuck McMichael. You know, I always find it funny when y'all comment right on top of each other, both being Louisianans. I think y'all do that on purpose. I think y'all are texting each other behind the scenes. I'm going to comment now. Okay, me next. Hey, Rich Garcia, Jack DuPont, nice to see you. Yes, I am. So's Adam. We did an episode a couple years ago talking about Freemasonry during the war. Calvin Hart, good to see you on there. Carl looks like the kid that no one would pick to be on their ball team. Bless his heart. Yeah, you know, Carl had to have a pork chop hung around his neck so the dog would play with him as a child. Chief Kennedy, nice to see you, and Ray Walton, nice to see you, all the way from Hanover, Virginia. We can't confirm or deny that they're texting each other about, the show. So anyway, happy almost Halloween, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying this wonderful spooky time of the year. I know Harrison is a big Halloween fan, but I did not know that Adam was until a recent discovery of his TikTok. And boy, my disappointment has never been higher.
Thanks.
Yeah. And the thing is, I would be less disappointed if it was Kayla, but it's actually you.
Yeah, I corrupted her.
Yeah. Faversham, Carl Jones, I'm glad you also get to see your little sister, your words, Calvin Hart, in the chat. It's going to be a night where they're throwing zingers at each other.
It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. I hope everybody enjoyed my month-long absence from the show. I know Moose did. He got a little bit less abuse, but October and April are my two busiest times of the year. April, of course, being Confederate Heritage Month. W-O-R-K. Yeah, that 4 evil letter word that I'm trying my hardest to get rid of. I identify as a retired U.S. Senator with a full paid pension, but nobody pays attention to that. Hey, my views and opinions there. Oh, hey, David Amos. Hey, y'all, from Southern Flags and Quilts. Glad to see somebody from Southern Flags and Quilts watching. They've been a longtime friend. And in fact, one of these days, Moose is going to remember to bring our flag to a national reunion. Yeah.
It's going to be one of those nights.
Gerald Nelson, for those that don't know, with work, I hurt myself a couple weeks ago. Well, it's about a month ago. Now that we're ending October, and have been in a walking orthopedic boot. Had an MRI Friday, and went for a follow up with the with the orthopedic doctor, and just like anybody before surgery, they want to try PT. So, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Anyway, Adam, so what is going on at our museum?
Oh, all kinds of stuff going on. A lot of good items have come in. So good to see Calvin Hart in the chat because we just made a trip. Commander-in-Chief Boshears and I went down to see Calvin Hart and some of the guys from Camp 1209 there in Jacksonville, Florida. And as you can see, we're outside the Museum of Southern History. They're getting ready to relocate. So they've got some items that they're loaning to us and some items that they gave to us.
Really, what items did all right, hold on. I got to pause really quickly.
Okay.
John Bell Hood also punished the Army of Tennessee by throwing them on a very long charge that was stupid and accomplished nothing besides wrecking the Army. Please don't compare me to him. Anyway, my views and opinions. God, the guy who wrote the books on the email us. What picture would you like us to throw up first of some of the stuff that came from the Southern History Museum that came to the museum?
Well, I think one of the coolest items that we received were the epaulets of Stonewall Jackson's Mexican War uniform.
I can kind of see him there under the picture of Jack, and I'm going to move
Yeah.
Harrison so we can see Adam.
They came with a great portrait of Stonewall to put above them, but these were on his uniform before he was Stonewall. And provenance is that he passed these to his nephew. And the nephew, through them, they've passed to the museum there in Jacksonville and have them on loan for a year. So you have 1 year to come and see these at our museum, and then they'll be gone back to Jacksonville. So
it'd be nice if there was a pilgrimage coming up within the spring to where everybody should come to their headquarters and view all the great things, including the Stonewall Jackson epaulets. Hint, hint.
that's right. First weekend in May. Go ahead and put that on your calendars.
So a really, really cool. I'm an epaulet fan. I like gaudy early war stuff, even that's Mexican American. Still would have seen them early war. And the ironic thing is, there's a portrait of Beauregard that's on the front of McClooney's book, and McClooney he refuses to buy a set of epaulets.
Oh, Beauregard was so flashy. He loved the epaulets, and I just don't think epaulets and Stonewall Jackson. He rarely pulled his sword. They say it rusted in the scabbard. He wasn't a dressy, flashy type of guy. Wore his blue VMA uniform until he just had to get into a Confederate dray. So, It's nice to see these. Like I said, you've got 1 year to come see them.
And the ironic thing is the relationship between Jackson and Stewart. Jackson, it was said that Stewart was the only one who could make Jackson laugh, and you have this, almost, and I'm paraphrasing authors, I wouldn't dare call him a Puritan, but puritanical in his non-flashiness and things like that. Jackson versus, the knight errant cavalier, plumed hat and red cape Stewart. So,
right.
Anyway, that's an episode for another week.
Yes, it is. One item that we now own, they gave to us, is a cool diorama from the Battle of Shiloh. And I think there's 3 pictures, the complete landscape of this diorama. It's beautifully done. All the miniatures on there. You see looks like the bloody pond there in the center. It takes you all the way over to the Tennessee River and a steamboat there. So it's really a neat piece.
Again, I still the scale of that steamboat is a little bit interesting.
You think it's a little too big?
I think it's just a little bit too big when you compare the fact that the paddle wheel's all the way on top of one of these hills, but I may be wrong. Who knows? Yeah.
I don't know. I know they were monsters.
But still, it's cool that we have it because we have the Battle of Franklin one up there. So we literally have dioramas from 1862, 1864. Would like to get some 61 and 63 stuff myself.
Yeah, I think this is a cool piece, and I like all the detail. Even you see the smoke coming out of the stacks on the steamers. So uh, I think it's a really
Hey,
cool touch.
it'd be cool, and Moose, we may have a project for what to do within the next 10 years. Is Henry House Hill right beside the gun wheels. That's a spooky sound behind you there, Adam. All right, what else we got?
Well, I'm trying to think what else we sent. Just throw a picture up there, see what comes up. Oh, there's Mr. Lee Miller, and this is a really a neat piece. It's got a great history on it. It's actually a Studebaker ambulance that was used by the Union or federal forces and was captured by Nathan Bedford Forrest, Battle of Parker's Crossroads. And Forrest captured so much from the Yankees right then that he couldn't take it off from the field. So he ended up leaving this ambulance. And a farmer there in that area took it and started using it on his farm. And after the farmer was done using it, he put it away in the barn. And later on, Lee Miller and some of his associates acquired it. They used it for reenacting for several years, and now they've donated it to our National Confederate Museum.
Well, that's very cool.
You
The
can still
next
crawl underneath it and see those Studebaker plate underneath. And we're talking original wheels, all the hardware is on it, original. Of course, over the years, the canvas has been replaced. Most of the wood's been replaced on it, but the core pieces of it, those are original pieces that Forrest captured.
Well, really quickly, let's talk about this before we talk about our last two items and one other picture.
Okay, yeah. Well, Merry Christmas Historic Home Tour's coming up December 1st and 2nd. So I really hope people will make plans to come to Murray County, part in this tour. You get to see our beautiful museum is one of the stops. Historic Elm Springs is one of the stops. So those two, I know, will be of interest to SCV members. But the Athenaeum, that should be of interest to us too. That was the home of a good Confederate named Reverend Franklin Gillette Smith. He actually financed a whole company of Confederate infantry himself. Two of his sons went off to fight in it. And during the war, he helped build submarines. He was designing submarines and trying to build one to sink and break the Yankee blockade. So,
Well, and of course, Saint John's Episcopal Church there as well.
right. That's what I was getting to next. Anybody that's a lover of the war between the states and Patrick Claiborne, this should be a spot you really need to come and see because this is never open. It's open one Sunday a year for Whit Sunday services. And they're opening it up special for us on this tour. You'll get to go in. This church has never been modernized, so it looks exactly as it did inside and out whenever Patrick Claiborne rode by and made his comment that it's almost worth dying to be buried at such a beautiful place. So,
and didn't Polk preach there?
He actually built it. He and his brothers. There were four Polk brothers: Rufus, Lucius, Leonidas, and George. And they had four plantations that met. And they built this church at the center or the corner where their plantations met. And it was consecrated in, I think, 1842. And Bishop Polk was known to have preached there.
What were the names again?
Rufus, Lucius, Leonidas, and George.
The fact that the George is allowed, like you have all those antiquated names, and George.
Then George. Short for George Washington, but I think it's just leave it at George. If I ever have a team of mules, that's what their names are going to be: Rufus, Lucius, Leonidas, and George.
Be appropriate for Muletown.
Yep, that's right.
And as a George, that George one's going to be the most stubborn of them all. All right, let's talk about some interesting post-war stuff that's come in.
Yeah, but good to see Harrison on here today. He and his father brought this up. It's a signed post-war by General Stephen D. Lee, the man, of course, who gave us our charge in 1896 in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is a letter written from him while he was at the Mississippi A&M College there. And I believe it's dated 1896, but you can see his signature on the second page, Stephen D. Lee.
Yeah, and in fact, it's actually 1897. So it was a year, after the SCV was founded.
Right.
But if my memory serves correct, when Forrest got the letters and was really, freaking out about them, in a good way.
Oh yeah.
He writes about some battle in the war, and it's a post-war firsthand document, and also I like the fact that y'all matted it in maroon. That's a very nice homage to what Mississippi A&M is now.
Yeah, everybody asked me why I chose the colors. That's the reason why. So, and I thank you for correcting me, Legend Paul Gramlin. It was 1906. I think I said 1896 was the year of the charge. I'm thinking of the year we were founded. So,
yeah, but the letter was a year after. Hey, here's a trivia question for y'all tonight. Without Googling, what is Mississippi A&M now? There you go. Yeah. That ought to make McClooney happy. There's another hint. Speaking of McClooney,
there's an Easter egg. Yeah, this is a really cool piece here.
Wait, the shirt or the Segway?
The Segway.
I'm not going to talk about his shirt because I'm not the snappiest of dressers out there, but that is a pretty loud shirt. This is, I know you said a couple of post-war items, but this Bible actually dates back to 1824 and is the McClooney Family Bible. And Commander-in-Chief McClooney, he is the last of his line, so he decided to donate it to our museum. And what makes this so important is that it belonged to his Confederate ancestor. And that's his Confederate ancestor in the photograph that I'm holding in this picture here. And in the photograph, he is actually resting his hand on this very Bible. So we're going to be putting this in our museum in the religion section. And inside, of course, like most family Bibles of the time, it has a lot of the birth and death records for the family. And one entry says that I forget what the person's name is, but they died in a war in Perryville, Kentucky. So I thought it was interesting that they said they died in a war instead of a battle, but that's all right. It's a really neat piece, and he says he discovered new things every time he looked at it, and I'm sure we'll discover new things when we examine it to put it on display.
And the final picture you sent in before we take our break?
Yeah, I just want to do some bragging. When Commander-in-Chief Bowshares and I went down to Jacksonville, it was a whirlwind trip. And we drove down 11, 12 hours and drove back 11, 12 hours. Going through Georgia, we saw a great mega flag site in Florida on the interstate there. But going through Georgia, we saw at least 3 sites like this, sites in Georgia. And all of them had the billboard there on the SCV telling people how to join. And, Georgia's really rocking and rolling in membership. So I wanted to applaud them. And I'm sure these flags have really helped them recruit. And Commander-in-Chief Bowshares and I stopped at this and did a little photo op while we were there. And I got a text message from my wife saying, hey, no more side trips. Y'all get home. So we couldn't stop and see anything else. So, but we did want to stop and take a picture of at least one of these flag sites. And I wanted to applaud the Georgia division on their work and applaud the Florida division on their flag sites as well. And they're leading the charge.
Well, you definitely have to do what Miss Kayla says, because if not, she'll shoot you.
That's right.
She will. We have video proof.
Yeah. Anyway, Moose, we're going to take a commercial break here, so we're going to let you take us to the break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Who are our sponsors, Moose?
Wow, he just left so quickly. And of course, our sponsors tonight are the Kennedy Twins' most recent book, Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government. Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government is about how Jefferson Davis was a leader of the high road to emancipation. He looked to the day in which slaves be prepared to live and participate in society. He did more, though, than advocate for this high road to emancipation. He practiced his beliefs in the ultimate emancipation of Southern slaves. And many of his former slaves left for prosperity and their testimony about their former master who prepared them to be self-sustaining members of society. You can get the Kennedy Twins' most recent book, Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government, at www.kennedy.com and most online bookstores, including www.scv.org and www.visitbeauvoir.org, both listed in their respective gift shop sections. We want to thank the Kennedy Twins once again, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with some pretty fun holiday themes after this Pop-Tart break.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
We want to thank the Kennedy Twins one more time for sponsoring tonight's Pop-Tart break with their newest book, Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government, available at www.kennedytwins.com and most online bookstores, including www.scv.org and www.visitbeauvoir.org, both listed in their respected gift shop sections. As you can tell, I have been left behind, but we do have an interesting second half for you here tonight. We're going to kind of just be, the ghost of Harold Philpott has spoken. We going to have a good time tonight. Of course, Halloween, we usually
everybody.
We usually dress up.
Yeah, I was looking for my Susan Sarandon mask and I couldn't find it.
So be happy. I was going to dress up, but as a broke college student, I didn't have any time to go buy a costume today. That's one per episode.
That's your one.
That's my one per episode. But we do have something we can talk about that has a spooky theme.
Adam's TikToks.
Adam's TikTok. Let me pull up everything again. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
So scroll down just a little bit.
All right.
I want you to talk a little bit. All right, stop. All right, the left side of the screen, that's 1456. Up, down, up. That right there, right here. I'm pointing at it on my screen. You can't see it. The one to the right of the piano. It says 1456.
This wreath, it's made out of human hair. This was a custom that was very popular during the Victorian era. You would take hair from your deceased loved ones and have it braided or woven into this wreath. The different color hair, that's hair from different family members. Sometimes you would have hair made into jewelry. A lady would have some of her hair made into a watch chain for her sweetheart, or sometimes you would take hair from deceased loved ones and have it made into jewelry. Like these earrings here. Those are made out of deceased loved ones' hair. Like and follow for more creepy history.
So you want to explain a little bit more about that their creepy history there, Adam?
Yeah, it's actually Kayla's personal collection of human hair art and human hair jewelry.
Hold on a second here.
What?
You didn't know?
No.
I thought I told you this.
No.
Yeah, that's in our house.
Why?
Why not? It's cool.
I love history, Adam, and I love Halloween, and I love spooky stuff. I put this on the SCV chat TikTok, but what?
Yeah, I mean, that stays up all year. It's not just for Halloween for us.
She has a personal dead person hair collection.
No, that's not what we call it, but it's just the
Well, what do you call it?
The hair art collection.
That is a lot better than the creepy dead person hair collection. Bob does have a good question. Where do y'all put that in the house?
Well, Kayla's got a room that she just has it all on display.
The creepy room?
Dead air?
No, it's not the creepy room. It's in the sunroom.
Yeah, the sunroom's a good place for it to cast. Let the sun cast out the evil spirit. Is it now? Is it from relatives of hers?
No, these are just things that we found in auctions, antique stores.
So y'all went out looking for dead people's hair.
Not necessarily, but if I stumble across it, I'll buy it.
Which Jason brings on us to our next point about Kayla being dangerous. So Adam and Kayla, for those that don't know, Kayla is she's still president of the Rose Hill Cemetery Association, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And there's been some damage from storms to some trees that happened out there and some other stuff. And, of course, donate to the SCV. But if you're looking for another worthy cause to donate to, Rose Hill Cemetery is another good one to donate. And they just had a cemetery tour the other night. So it's going to be the 2471. Yeah, this is proof that.
Get off my grave! My name is Elizabeth Pillow Porter, better known as Miss Lizzie. I come from that prominent pillow family y'all heard about earlier. We're the crazy ones. Yeah, I was born in 1860, but I didn't die until 1965, the ripe old age of 105. And most folks don't remember me in my younger years, but I had traveled the world, was very educated. Most folks remember me sitting on my front porch of my home on a West 6th Street North High. Big rambling home, pretty run down. A lot of folks thought it was haunted. And I had tombstones in the front yard of my family members that I just never had placed. I used them as stepping stones. But folks who remember me from that time said it didn't matter if it was the summer or the winter. I'd be out there in my full-length mink coat. Had a pistol in my pocket and my rifle across my lap. Because I did not like anyone walking in front of my property. So obviously, y'all didn't remember that. Now, when I passed away, that's when I really became infamous. See, I had a lot of pet chickens and didn't have any friends, didn't really like anyone. Except for Bowser Frakes. And don't worry, he replaced all my bullets with blanks. But it was a couple days before he found me. And my chickens had already been eating on me. And since I didn't have any family, no friends, they decided they would just auction off all my belongings to the benefit of Murray County. And that's where it gets real interesting. Just about every week, a new article would come out. $10,000 cash found in Lizzie Porter's mattress. $30,000 gold coins found throughout Lizzie Porter's home, in the walls, in books, in desks, just everywhere. And there was such demand for my auction that they took everything to the American Legion. And the week before, they charged admission for folks to come view my property. Everybody wanted a piece of Miss Lizzie. And my auction did really well. The Murray County Public Library, that was built with proceeds from my auction. Now, I told y'all to get off my grave, and you don't listen. Go!
Stop before she starts. So she shot twice, and I don't know if y'all noticed this. The entire time she's walking around, Carl may have noticed, and this gets to our Christmas gift for Kayla this year. She has the hammer drawn back and her finger on the trigger. So this year for Kayla for Christmas, Carl, we're going to have to find out how much it's going to cost to get her a proper gun course. At 1175 Tactical, look them up on Facebook. So
yeah, I guess you have. Ours were never really that boring. But she was everything she said about Miss Lizzie was correct. 105 years old when she died. They found all kinds of treasures in her home. She lived like a recluse. She only had one or two people that she would let into her house, and they found a brand new car in her garage that she only drove once.
well,
Stradivarius violin was in her house, and she did have a gun everywhere she went. And a lot of people didn't believe that she would shoot at you, but when they cleaned out her house, she had one of those large antique cast iron urns on her back porch that was full of bullet casings where she would empty her gun into it after she fired all 6 rounds. So, yeah, Miss Lizzie was a character, and she was right. Everybody wanted a piece of Miss Lizzie, and we have 2 or 3 Miss Lizzie items here in our personal collection at the house just to keep the creepy vibes going here.
in any of her hair?
None of her hair. We do have her portrait.
So one thing that they mentioned, yeah. We're not going to look at we're not going to look at those, Moose. We're not going to look at those.
You sure?
We're positive.
I think there's a comment in there you missed earlier.
Let me check it first.
Okay, check it.
Anyway, play the video while I'm looking it up.
All right.
Hey, y'all. We're back at the Athenaeum in Columbia, Tennessee. Now, this is a really cool piece that I want to share with you, and kind of timely being it's the Halloween season and all. This is a death portrait or a posthumous painting. Back before photographers, you would actually have people come in and sketch and paint your dead loved ones. The artist usually left clues to let the viewer know that this was a death portrait. The clothing of the subject, there would be certain symbols, certain flowers that would be included in the painting, or in the case of this painting, the subject would be painted in a cloud or mist. Like and follow for more.
So now that's not the same one that we have at headquarters that looks like Eddie Munster, is it?
No, that's not the same Eddie Munster.
See, I didn't realize that about the cloud or mist thing until you shared that, but that is a nice, creepy portion of our history.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Jack, that's a little bit too morbid of a question.
That's my aide de camp.
Jack DuPont wants to know.
That's my aide.
Probably. That's where the custom of sending flowers to a funeral would start, because there was no embalming in the early stages of undertaking. So you would send flowers or place flowers by the body of the dead so you would cover up the death smell.
Jude, these videos are all on Adam's TikTok. So if you look at Mayor of Culleoka, is that correct? Close enough?
That's right. Mayor of Culleoka.
Then you can, but if you scroll down really quickly there, Moose, I'll show you what started. All right. Yeah.
He's a $7 million bull rider.
J.B. Mooney.
Oops.
Hey,
You slipped.
Caleb been looking all over for the dead cow skeleton, so I finally found one. I was a
And
hero
what-
for a day.
And dead hair.
And why didn't you get the pig?
The pig looked mean.
Yeah.
Oh. Which one are we looking for?
Scroll up. Wait. So all right. 2 to the left of the cow one with Elm Springs on it.
Gather around, y'all. It's time for a ghost story. This is Elm Springs in Columbia, Tennessee. And like most old homes of its age, it's seen a lot of life and a lot of death over the years. And in 1851, the family that lived here lost a baby. As was customary during this time, the family invited their neighbors and their friends and family in, and they had the wake in the parlor of the home. And after the appropriate time, they went out to the small family cemetery nearby and buried the child. Now, as it was time to go to bed, the wife, the mother of the child, began crying, screaming, saying that she could hear her baby cry. Now, the husband, desperate to console his wife, went out to the family cemetery to dig up his freshly buried child. But he was shocked at what he saw. The baby had flipped over and was now laying on its stomach. It had ripped the lining from the casket, but unfortunately, he was too late. The child had died. Now today, they say you can still go out to the family cemetery and hear cries from a child. And if you're standing in the family cemetery and you look over to the house, you'll see a woman standing from the window looking towards the grave of her child. This is just one of many stories that Elm Springs has to share. Come and see Elm Springs for yourself, or pick up a copy of my book, Mad Murray, and read all about the ghost of Murray County, Tennessee.
Wait, you've written a book?
Yeah, how do you not know he's written a book?
Oh, I know, because
That
I've gone to
came out-
adamsouthern.com.
Yes, I have as well. It's an amazing website.
Oh, yeah, not much there.
Better than
Not
ours.
much there.
Yeah, that's better than ours. So you were telling me a story. Go ahead and pull the TikTok down, Moose, of a ghost tour that happened a little while ago
Mm-hmm.
over there at the house. Something to go with the baby and all that.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what happened during the tour, but
Oh, thanks.
I'll see what it was. I'm trying to think. We have paranormal investigations throughout the year at Elm Springs to raise money, and we had one this past Saturday and raised $700 for the house. And these are just great little fundraisers, and they don't even use electricity. They like to sit around in the dark. They're great, inexpensive fundraisers. But during one of the last ones that we had, probably a month or two ago, they had these laser grids that they shine into the doorways, and if something crosses the laser, evidently it's a ghost. And this video shows the ghost hunters setting up they put the laser grid into a doorway. You can see the beams of the light shining out, and the ghost hunters are sitting there talking amongst themselves. And while they're looking at the door, you can see a figure walk into the doorway and make out legs, arms, head, shoulders, full body figure standing there in the door. And it's sitting there looking at them talking, and ghost hunters are just still talking amongst themselves until one finally looks up and sees the figure, and chaos erupts. One of them about passes out. The other starts screaming, and the figure just kind of looks at him like you would see somebody think, golly, and just walk off. So that was one of the coolest pieces of evidence I've seen collected there at the house, and all the times that we've had paranormal investigators there. Anytime that you can actually have video evidence of something, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Jack and everybody who's been commenting in, we're going to come back up and read the comments. I'm personally enjoying the little feud between Calvin Hart and Carl Jones.
It's been fantastic.
In the comment section, we'll get to everything. Like Rich, I see yours, but speaking of historical places and ghosts, a couple years ago we were laying a new water line for Beauvoir for fall muster for the reenactors, and I was down there helping, volunteering, and stuff like that, and they had a ghost tour that evening. Well, I was staying in the Hayes Cottage. Adam, you've stayed there. I read your name in the book. Moose stayed there. He crashed on a couch.
Yep.
Anyway, while we were there and doing things like, yeah, sure, ghost tour, I'm here, I'm stuck in, might as well. So while I'm waiting on the tour to get ginned up, I go up to the library and I'm doing research on one of my ancestors who happened to die there. And I found some stuff. I pull his file. I put some stuff, historical stuff, on the family in the file so that we had a more complete record of his life before and after, well, before and during Beauvoir, his time there when he was at the soldiers' home. So anyway, we're chilling out up there, and suddenly it's time for the tour to start. And one of the things that the tour group had was a voice box that just picked up random radio waves. And they say, if you're, and I'm a skeptic, I've been a skeptic all my life and will remain so, unless, something full body ever had. Well, something full body did happen to me, but anyway. Anyway, so we go up to the inside the house, and they've got this voice box going, and all of a sudden it begins screaming my name. And then it stopped it said my name 3 times, and then it began screaming my direct ancestor, who was that guy's brother, his name. So I thought that was weird. Moved on into the tour, was helping pack stuff up because I'm staying on property, I have nowhere to go. And we're under the bottom of the house, and we're standing underneath the front parlor. So if you're looking at the house from your back's to the Gulf, it's that front left room. We're all standing under there. Everybody's standing under. The house is locked. The house is locked. The house is locked. And suddenly we hear this scraping going across the floor. We go up there. We unlock the house because why?
The house
was locked. And the piano stool had moved a good harp stool had moved 3 feet away from the harp. So, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Susie and I think we saw a ghost of Shiloh, but
you think?
We think. I'm not 100% sure on the fact, and we argue about which side the guy came from. So, and it was late at night, and it may have been, more gravy than ghost, to quote Dickens.
There you go. Not at Elm Springs, but the Athenaeum. I've seen some things there, but I've only had one ghostly experience at Elm Springs. This is when our offices were still in the house, and if I had my way, I would work all night. I'm more of a night owl than I am a daytime or morning person.
I know.
Yeah. So this was during the winter. It got dark early, and I'm like, dang, I wish I hadn't waited to leave. I don't want to walk through this empty haunted house by myself. And I was like, hey, you're staying up. So I'm locking up my door, and my office door was right across the dining room in the house. And as soon as I closed my office door, I could hear a woman humming in the dining room. And I said, nope, not today. And I ran and deadbolted that door, took off. I was like, y'all can have it. Y'all party down. I'm out of here.
Not today.
Not today. So that was
Moose,
my
you ever
one
have
big
anything weird?
thing.
Yeah, I thought a couple years ago when we were on the other platform and Matt, did the show from inside the house, he was about to have a heart attack.
Yeah, that was interesting. He walked in and then there was like a pan or something that just flew off the top of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. During the forest event, we had the guards posted at the front door, back door, and inside with General and Mrs. Forrest. One of the guards radioed Commander Boshears and was like, "Whose little girl is this dancing on the rock wall?" And he was like, "What are you talking about? Nobody's got kids on site." And he was like, "Somebody's little girl is out here dancing on the rock wall." So one of our guards at like 3:00 in the morning was seeing a little girl walking along the rock wall of the cemetery over there. So
See, I hadn't heard that one.
yeah.
Rethinking my idea for part of this upcoming early January stuff now. So yeah, there's that.
I think we need to go ahead with it.
No,
Full steam ahead, boy.
you're camping with me then.
That's fine. I haven't had anything like that happen to me, and I try to find it.
Well, that's probably the thing then is it's us that are actively looking for crap.
Hey, give me some ghost stories, man. I love Halloween. I'll tell them every October.
Gotta love you, Carl, and your garlic 3-foot garlic necklace. All right, so to go through some of the things to wrap up, Rich Garcia wanted us to remind everybody that a Southern Cross of Honor is being placed for Joe Brown Tomlinson on Sunday, November 12th at 2 p.m. at the Wilkes Camping Ground Cemetery outside of Colioca, Tennessee. Hey, said it right twice in one episode.
You have. You're doing good.
Yeah. Need guys for the volleys and flags, and I think Adam's going to be there.
I'll be there. I mean, it's in I'm the mayor of the town. I have to be there. So.
Self-appointed, right?
And that's a joke too, by the way. Colioca is not incorporated. We do not have a mayor, but I've claimed the title for myself. So,
well, that's the best way to be is self-proclaimed.
Yeah, and nobody can fire me. I mean, I can do what I want. So.
Chief Kendi wanted us to remind everybody that Commander's Comments this Thursday, 7 p.m., same show place, same show time. The Tennessee Division will be having Winstead Hill Death March to the Carter House, November 26th. Let me check something. I make that.
Ooh.
That's a neat walk. If you've never done that, it's really a solemn occasion. You walk in the footsteps. You're basically walking the footsteps that they made that night at the battle, all the way straight down 31 from Winstead Hill to the Carter House.
About what? 2 miles? 3 miles? 4 miles? 5?
2 miles. 2 miles.
Well, Susie's driving.
If you do it though, if you do it, try to plan somebody to drive you back to your car, because if not, you have to walk the 2 miles back up the hill. So I didn't think that far ahead when I did it. So luckily,
I'm a downhill type guy.
Well, this is your walk then, 2 miles down the hill.
And I learned at Chickamauga, I prefer a short, higher elevation climb than a long, slow, gentle, continuing up the hill and up the hill and up the hill and up the hill, then up the next hill march. Yeah. Do 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 do.
Let me know if you can come up for that. I'll come join you for that. I'll do the 2 mile walk again.
I think I can because it looks like it's the Thursday after Thanksgiving, or not the Thursday, excuse me, the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
May can. I've got a lot of PTO I've got to take for the end of the year. Remember everybody for the one-click links for the Arlington Reconciliation Monument stuff. Hopefully we'll have a update on Thursday. But keep on keeping on. There's more stuff that's been delivered to the museum, but hasn't been put on display yet. So
Yeah, it was another piece that we got from Jacksonville, Florida. We got it was a great little statue of General Hardy, I believe, and it heavy as can be. So I had to find a good table to put it on. And once we get that, we'll have it out on display. And it's another item that 1209 has to us on loan for a year. So, but we did get the a grant from the Order of the Southern Cross that will finance 10 new display cases for our museum. So I received the grant check in the mail today, and I will be ordering display cases pretty soon. And we'll be able to put a lot more items out on display. So thank you to the Order of the Southern Cross for that generous donation.
I've got to decide whether I want to do the Franklin March or the historic, the Christmas and no, I can't do the Christmas thing. So yeah, it's gonna have to be the March.
Well, I was going to say they're so close together, you could just do them both. Just stay in Columbia all week.
No, I've got to be back at Beauvoir on December 2nd for our laying of the wreaths at the cemetery, as well as our Christmas encampment.
Well, yeah, you can't miss that.
Can't miss that.
That Beauvoir president gonna work you to death.
Yeah.
He's not even paying attention to me.
I am.
No,
I
don't.
was letting it go.
No, that's the thing. I don't take orders from.
He doesn't. He takes orders from a different board.
Oh, there you go.
Chuck McMichael wants to know.
Yep, that's part of the new display cases, Chuck. So once we get those, we're going to dedicate probably a whole case to the time capsule. So we're looking forward to getting those out past CIC McMichael, and that'll be something we'll talk about when we get them out.
Hey, Moose, what city does or what township does Adam live in?
I could never pronounce it, so I'm not.
There, it's put up there for you.
I know exactly. I know I can't pronounce it.
Just try it.
Okay. Let's.
Holyoke.
Kaliloka.
Close. We'll work on it.
Close. I'll take that.
Kalioka.
Hey, he got it.
Hey.
I remember it. That's the
No,
hard
I
part.
won't. Adam will come on again. Say it.
Well,
No.
One last question before we begin the final wrap up. What's y'all's favorite Halloween candy?
I like I don't even know what they're called. I think they're called peanut butter kisses, and they're always wrapped in either orange or black, and they're like caramel.
Oh, the Hershey Kisses with the caramel in them.
I guess.
Moose.
Probably Snickers or Reese's.
You can't go wrong with Reese's.
No, Reese's is a classic.
So, we bought a whole box of full-size bars to pass out tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have some kids. But we only had one trick-or-treater last year, so. Gonna be an
Well,
awful cold one for them this year.
I'm the type house that gives out raisins.
Hope you get rolled.
Yeah, I hope you get rolled too. Heck, that's awful.
No, I don't like trick or treaters.
We moved to a neighborhood we would have over 100 kids, and now we had one. So kind of sad for me.
Well, if the kid was smart, he'd come by at like 9 o'clock, and you just dump the whole thing in there.
I would. Hey, Adam.
Hey,
I might come up and visit you tomorrow.
all right, come see me.
Careful, Kayla may shoot you.
Hey, I didn't say anything. If you saw the TikTok,
I saw you put words in my mouth.
You said it.
Comment.
You said
No,
it.
I did not. No,
Yes,
I
you
did
did.
not. I know
Yes,
better
you
than
did.
that. No, I didn't.
Well, obviously you don't.
I don't even know what you are talking about.
Connor.
He said
something.
Moose said that I called Kayla your old lady, and that's a Moose thing.
No, don't you put. I slipped up one time in my life, and I'm never doing it again.
Looked up like
You
3
said-
times at National Reunion.
Okay, 3 times I made that mistake, and I was for sure never going to repeat that again.
Yeah,
You said
I may have said it in joking, like Moose said that Kayla that old lady or
Nope.
that old lady needs to be
I
yeah.
snitched on you to Kayla, and now you're upset. So
No,
calm down.
there was nothing.
Kayla, he is lying through his teeth.
Kayla, I'll do a lot of shady things, but would I lie to you?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes, he would. 4 years as his aide de camp. Yes, he would. We had a
Not
whole
Kayla.
conversation based on a lie one time, and he played it perfectly.
That's like most of our conversations. I start them with a lie to you.
It really
But-
is.
Yeah, see. Anyway, so reminder to tune in to Commander's Comments on Thursday, 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time on the same. Is that the one that Mountain Throats sang, Carl, or was that the other one? So anyway, we're going to call it here before we get any more silly. We hope you've enjoyed this program. Remember the words of the late and great Harold Philpotts, no Fumar in the elevator. Dang it, Calvin.